Welcome back to Bay Area Breakdown. I'm here with my co-host.
Yes, and Kim.
Today we're going to be breaking down the most important Warriors on the team if we want the Warriors to have a successful run in the postseason. But before we do all that, let's break down the games that happened over the last week. So first off, we played against the Mavs. It was a close 10-point loss. What do you think about the first game against the Mavs?
The the game against Mavs, I think Mrs. Moody had good energy. Unfortunately, we lost. Well, Luka Doncic got injured, which I feel that kind of affected the game too. Like the way that it was kind of close. And I think if Luka didn't get injured, we would have got blown out probably.
How do you feel like the energy for the rest of the starters were?
Uh, it was kind of lacking, but the bench energy was up there.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, so Kuminga, leading scorer, 10-point loss, 109 to 99. Um, Throughout the game, it was tight at times, but Mavericks kind of pulled away. How do you think the Warriors could have pulled this one out? Do you think that like it was offensive issue, defensive issue? What do you think?
I think it was offensive issues.
hmm Like, um, so Steph didn't play in this game. Um, how do you feel like the offense could have improved?
If he had Steph, I think we would have been a way better shooting team.
hmm
We went 32% from three. They went 22, which we won that. We also won on we lost in the field goal, which might have cost the game.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think Steph he creates shots for other players, but I think, as a team, we have to be able to create shots for ourselves. CP does a good job of that off the bench. But he was starting, so the bench unit really didn't have much shot creation. I think, Kuminga had his 27-point game, but other than that, no one really had like that big of a game. Wiggins had 17 on 5 of 12 shooting. CP and Clay were missing a lot of shots. Just really lackluster offense. Pods coming off the bench was interesting. Um, Played 28 minutes. He might be a little banged up, but he also didn't have a good shooting night. And I think overall, the team needs to be better shooting.
Yeah.
We can move on to the Lakers game. So the Warriors were able to pull this one out, 128 to 121. My thoughts on this, it's a good win. It was a good crunch time victory, close game throughout, back and forth game. This is the type of game I want to see the Warriors to win. Not one of those blowouts, one of those games where you need to kind of grind it out and pull through at the end. The ending was a little weird, having like 15 plus minutes of real time go by before even like 20 seconds were off in the game clock. But I'm just glad we were able to bounce back off of that. When you saw that happen, you really thought the Lakers might get some momentum and might come back. And I'm just glad, the Warriors were able to pull through.
Yeah, my opinion on the Lakers game was that Kaminga had a big game. Well, Kaminga had been stepping up recently too. But then Steph Curry, I think it was his first game back, right?
hmm Well, he came back and then he missed the game and then came back.
Steph Curry was struggling in the first quarter and then got like his rhythm going. And then pretty sure he had like 25 or so. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, the Lakers game was the first game Steph was back. He didn't come back before that.
Well, yeah. Like what I said, Curry was slow like first quarter and then second quarter he was getting his rhythm and second half he was hot. He got
Yeah.
31 points.
Curry kind of plays like that. He looks like he gets the other guys going early, and then towards like the middle of the game, that's when he starts to get his groove.
Yeah.
I'm not really particularly excited about that, but I mean, knowing Curry, he'll get his points. He'll get in his groove. It just might take a second. Um, and in some of the bigger games, you want Curry to get out early before like they get too much of a lead.
Yeah, before we started losing. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we move on to the Knicks game. So, a 7-point loss to the Knicks here, 119 to 112. This was a game where we fell behind early and we just weren't able to come back. We made a little run beginning of the fourth quarter, but we weren't able to pull through and they kind of pulled away. What were your thoughts on that game?
Uh we had no effort on winning, I feel like there wasn't like electric type play and there wasn't like any like we didn't have like momentum, you know.
Hmm.
They had the momentum the whole game.
Yeah, I think Josh Hart really hurt us in this game. Usually we're an undersized team, but we rebound pretty well. We're a top five rebounding team despite being super undersized. But having Josh Hart be that undersized rebounder for them, it kind of like gave us a taste of our own medicine.
Yeah. Also adding to the next game, Josh Hart and Miles McBride like killed us.
Yeah, Miles McBride seems like, Warriors face a lot of Warriors, one of those teams that you kind of you get up to play. You have your season best or career best.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, I saw a tweet by Warriors Muse, stating a couple like role players having the career best games against the Warriors.
Hmm.
So we can get into the preview. So we play the Grizzlies on Wednesday on ESPN. It's a game we should win. Grizzlies are super banged up. They've kind of given up on the season. They're rebuilding towards next year. And I think this is a game we need to take advantage of.
Yeah. Also being a San Francisco, the Bay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we go play or we play the Pacers at home again.
Hmm.
Um, this is a game also where we have to take advantage of. Pacers are hovering around 500, as are we. Um, at home, the Pacers are a high-powered offensive team. They like to go fast, and I think the Warriors play fast pretty well too. So it's about like controlling the game and knowing when to go fast and when to stop.
Yeah.
And we go to Minnesota um, on Sunday. This is a game in Minnesota against a top four seed in the West. I'm not expecting a victory, but I'm hoping for one. This is one of those games where you can just see, you can see the Warriors coming out flat, or you can see them just come out guns blazing. This is one of those like big games that you really want to see if the Warriors can finally, put together a run against a good team.
Yeah. I feel like if we beat Minnesota Timberwolves, we could start like getting into a win streak, like what you said.
Hmm. And then we go to South Florida to play the Heat. This is another game where it's on the road. Warriors been pretty decent on the road, so you want to see if the team can kind of come together, maybe win both Minnesota and win Miami, get a little win streak going for this week.
Mm-hmm. I talking about these games. What's your prediction?
I think we split it 2-2. I'm hoping we take care of business against the Grizzlies, and then I can see us losing to the Pacers maybe, or losing the backside to the Heat, and then the Timberwolves are a great team defensively, so I'm not sure if I'd predict them to take a win there. So I'd say 2-2 is my expectation, 3-1's the hope.
Yeah, I see 3-1, maybe 2-2. But for me, I'm feeling stronger in 3-1. Yeah.
So do you have confidence we're gonna beat both the Pacers and the Heat?
Oh, the Heats are the Heats are like barely having a winning record. So I feel like we could beat the Heats.
Yeah, both the Pacers and the Heat are in the play-in. They're both above. I mean, they're both 6 games, 7 games above 500, so they have a better record than the Warriors do.
Yeah. But Timberwolves, I think we will probably lose that one.
Okay.
Especially if who's injured on the like Wolves again?
Was what?
Like who's injured on the Timberwolves?
I'm
Like
pretty sure
Rudy Gobert and like
Gobert. I think Cat might be injured. I think Cat's the one that's injured.
would Rudy
Uh,
Gobert and Cat be back for the game?
um, I think Gobert's game time decision right now, so I'm expecting him to be back.
Honestly,
Uh,
you
I
know,
think Cat's the one that's gonna be out for a while. Cat's gonna be out for a while.
I uh I could see the Warriors beating the Timberwolves if
I
Rudy
just think they're
Gobert
not
doesn't
good enough
play.
to play like Ant's too good. Rudy's too good defensively.
And yeah,
Jalen McDaniels or Jaden, sorry, Jaden McDaniels is just a lockdown defender on Steph. Naz Reid just seems to kill the Warriors, and I just feel like Timberwolves just have like so many guys who are just so good.
yeah, like talking about the Timberwolves yesterday, which was Tuesday, yeah, like Tuesday against the Nuggets. Timberwolves was shorthanded, Nuggets weren't, but it was still a close game.
Yeah.
So you'll see, like, if you could beat them or not.
All right, so we can get to the main part of this episode. So obviously the Warriors are sitting at the 10 seed. They're alternating with the Warriors or the Lakers, alternating with the Lakers at the 9. So for the Warriors to make a run, we decided to
Mhm.
rank the 12 players we thought the were the most important if the Warriors wanted to make a run.
Yeah.
Do you want to start from the bottom or the top?
We'll start from the top.
Okay. So I think both of us have easy number 1,
Steph.
Steph. Yep.
Yeah.
I think, first to have a deep run, Steph needs to have one of those legendary months, just one of those ones where you just see 10, like 8, 10, 11, throwing a 12 3-point like 3-point game.
Hmm.
We need Steph to kind of lock in and be the MVP that he was.
Averaging at least like 30, you
Yeah,
think?
we need at least
Yeah.
30. Yeah.
Hmm.
So we can skip past him. Number 2, who do you have?
I got Kaminga.
Okay, I have Kuminga third, but why do you have Kuminga second?
Kaminga just been averaging like probably like 20, like this like last week, right? Or he been like barely under 20, but averaging almost like 20. So he's like the second like scorer on the team besides Steph Curry.
Okay, I had him third. So I mean, all the points you said, he's the secondary scorer. He's the rim presence. He's the guy who attacks, and he's the guy who has to, who like if he can get hot, if he can drive toward the rim, finish layups, it just takes a lot of pressure off Steph.
Hmm.
I had number 2. I had Draymond, just solely off the defense and the playmaking. I think Draymond is kind of that playmaker, the guy who runs the team. He's the quarterback of the team. He gets rebounds, he plays defense, and then when on offense, when we're in the half court, he kind of runs, he controls everything. You see him pointing all the time. You see him doing all these passes, these back cuts. He kind of knows where everyone's gonna be. And I think if Steph and Dre are clicking, um, you're gonna get these great performances from Steph, and Dre's gonna be the guy finding him.
Yeah. Also
So,
going back to Kaminga, Kaminga have been like a better shooter like recently. Hope
mhm.
he gets consistent with it.
Yeah. So I talked about my third and Kuminga. Yeah, just if you can, I mean, I don't even need him to hit a shot. If he can just finish at the rim and just be a secondary scorer, I think that's gonna be important for the Warriors. Who'd you have at number 3?
I had Draymond.
Okay, so yeah, we just flip flop those two. I think
Yeah.
they're both big players, especially rebounding and then being a scorer for Kuminga and being a defender and playmaker for Draymond, just taking the load off Steph.
Hmm.
So who do you have at number 4?
I had Andrew Wiggins.
Okay, that's who I had number 4 as well.
Yeah.
So for Wiggins, I think if he can get back to being a good shooter, and then being a guy who can create his own shot, especially late in the clock when they kind of lock down, if Wiggins can just get back to being the 2022 version, the guy who's the second best player on our championship team,
Yeah.
I think that could really open the doors for the Warriors to make a deeper run.
Hmm.
I just think, having Wiggins, he's always giving effort on defense now. And I think on offense, you can just provide a guy who 15 to 20 points, just a guy who kind of when Steph's not going, getting early in the game when Steph's maybe not going, getting into Wiggins, letting him hit a couple shots, just, giving the Warriors some confidence, like, hey, we're still in this game, let's get going type of thing.
Hmm. I agree with like, or I was about to say the 15 through 20 points.
Yeah.
He been averaging like last 3 games. He been like he struggled against the Knicks, but then had a good game against the Lakers and Mavericks. Like
Mhm.
two good teams. Yeah.
All right. And then number 5, who'd you have?
I had Brandon Podensky.
Okay, yeah, that's who I had too.
Yeah.
What are your reasoning for picking Pajemski at 5?
I had Brandon Podensky at 5 because like besides like Kaminga, Steph, Podensky's probably like number 3 on our team for like score besides Andrew Wiggins. And if Podensky starts going on offense, average like at least 10, I feel we could like be one of the play-in teams, like playoff, yeah, playoff contenders.
Yeah, for me, Podolski, I'm not really worried about his scoring. I don't really see him as a guy who needs to score to make an impact. I like him more for his offensive rebounding and defense rebound too. And then his taking charges. I think if you can be a spark plug, get those extra rebounds, get those extra possessions, and then on defense, from the guard spot, flying in to get rebounds, getting like ending the
Like giving
possessions.
efforts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ending possessions. I
Hmm.
think that'll really help the team increase the energy and then make a deeper run.
Yeah.
So, number six, do we have our six man? Do we agree on the six man?
Yeah, Clay.
Yeah. Okay. So, Clay, I can go first here. Clay, we obviously know he's not the guy who he used to be, but I think having him off the bench, he doesn't have to be. I think if he can just get off the bench for a couple games, he can be that hot and cold type of guy. A guy like Malik Monk, like Jordan Poole was a few years ago, like just like a Lou Williams type of guy, just a guy who can come in and just shoot the ball. I think, if he can just find the rhythm, be that six man, and even if he has cold games, he'll really open up the team to higher potentials to raise the ceiling. And Clay's buying into the role, which is good.
Yeah. Clay Thompson. I think the bench was a better spot for him because like he been shooting the ball like better. He been like let's see. He been shooting around 50%, which is very shocking, and averaging at least like 15 points, which is very shocking for us like shooting.
Hmm. For number seven, who'd you have?
All right, Jackson Davis.
Okay, so I had Jackson Davis eight, but we can talk about Jackson Davis right now. What made you put him at seven?
Like his like defense on like the paint. He's like a
Mhm.
paint beast. Like blocking Giannis. I saw like he could be like one of like our or who starts on our big? It's Draymond Green, right?
It's Draymond and Kuminga, yeah.
I feel like Jackson Davis could honestly start because
Over Kuminga?
or like you know how like Pajensky and Wiggins start sometimes probably like bench one of them and have one at least one big. I feel like
The problem with that is who plays small forward.
I'll I'll put Kaminga. I don't know.
Kuminga at small forward, I mean, do you trust them to? Then there's no spacing there. You have three guys who can't shoot.
Kaminga's like decent at shooting. If he could be consistent, I'll be okay with the lineup.
But I mean, that's an if. Like right now, Kuminga's not a shooter. You see
Yeah.
teams leading him open, and he's still driving to the rim.
Hmm.
I just don't think you can put. You don't. I don't think you can like in today's NBA. You can't put three guys who can't shoot in a starting lineup.
Yeah. But talking about Jackson Davis, he been averaging like let's see like or the past the like past six game he been averaging like more than 10 points, which is very helpful from Jackson Davis, one of our
Mhm.
bigs. Yeah. And
Yeah.
also gives effort on rebound and
So
block.
I have him at seven. Oh, I have him at eight. Mostly because the guy above him, I think, opens him up. Um, he's a lob threat and he's a paint like rebounding and paint big. And I
Yeah.
think it really helps if, you have a guy who can get rebounds who's a bigger body, especially like since the Warriors are super undersized.
Hmm.
But I think the offensive part, I think he needs somebody to kind of feed him. And I think the guy who I have above him really does help open up the team and feed Jackson Davis, among others, getting opportunities. So I'm talking about Chris Paul. I have Chris Paul at seven, just because off the bench, being a playmaker, he seems to get like so many open looks a game. He gets guys open, he gets guys lobs, he gets, the shooters open, and he just knows basketball. And I think if Chris Paul can be that 1-2 punch with Clay off the bench and create offense, I think it'll really help the depth of our team.
Yeah. Chris Paul had been shooting it way better too.
So number nine, who's the ninth guy? Or who'd you have at eight actually?
At Chris Paul.
Okay, yeah, we talked about Chris Paul. So who'd you have at nine?
I probably hold on, let me check. Gary Payton.
Okay, I have Gary Payton at nine as well.
Like like for defense reasons.
Yeah, that's the exact reason why I said. I said, he's a defensive guy. He can if he can get a couple steals a game, right? Just energy, you know,
Mhm.
provide energy off the bench, and that's his main selling point, defense and energy. And
Yeah,
I think, as we get to the bottom of this, it's just guys who can kind of provide something. So for my number 10, who'd you have?
I'm Mrs. Moody.
Okay, I had Moses Moody at 11, but I think these two are interchangeable. I moved. Okay, we can talk about Moses Moody. I had Moses Moody at 11 just because of the thing that like he's a 3 and D wing, and I don't see him having a spot like in the rotation. You have Pajemski who kind of provides a similar skill set. Wiggins provides a similar skill set. Clay provides a similar skill set, and then Gary Payton to a degree also provides a similar skill set. I just don't see a spot where Moody really has a big role.
Mhm. I agree, but like Mrs. Moody always like brings up energy like to the team. Like
Hmm.
I just see him like once he's on the game, like the game tempo changes and like he just brings up the hype.
Yeah, that's true. Moses Moody does bring a lot of energy, and I think, in spurts, if you can bring him in like at the end of the third quarter when someone's tired or when someone gets in foul trouble, I think, he can help the team.
Yeah.
So my 10 I have is Dario Saric. Just because of the shooting, I think having more spacing off the bench, you got Clay and then GP2's kind of a shooter, not really a shooter. Just having a guy who can space the floor, give CP someone to outlet to who can make a three. I think that's just really important in the bench unit, and I think he has more opportunities to play alongside TJD.
Yeah. I also or after Mrs. Moody, I had Dario Saric too. Like, cause he's a big man that could shoot. Like, let's see, like
Hmm.
Jaren Jackson Jr. He's a shooter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then for my last guy, I had Kevon Looney.
I also had Kevin Looney
Yeah,
for
I
the.
just think he kind of got replaced by Jackson Davis.
Mhm.
Um, he's not really providing anything offensively, and then and then rebounding wise, TJD kind of provides similar. So I just think if any injury happened to a big man, having Kevon Looney be a rebounder helps, but I don't see him having that big of a role.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so that was our ranking of the most important Warriors on the 2024 squad. We'll catch you next week with the recaps and breaking down more Warriors news. We'll see you.
See ya. Thank you.